I don't want to spend like a ton of money for my.
No, this one's like
for
$20.
my $3 bottles of
Trader Joe's.
Of Trader Joe's shitty wine. Yeah.
Well, their shitty wine's pretty good for one.
I mean, here's Salty comes in at 9:30 in the morning with a brewski.
I'm not doing this episode sober.
Day drink.
I was like, these movies
Do
are
we need shots?
terrible. We should do a shot.
We should do
We
some
might,
shots.
Jude's all shots. Do we have any of the good
What?
stuff?
Yeah, of course.
Might need the good
Of
stuff.
course
for
we
this.
do. What kind of shirt is that? I like that shirt.
Oh, thanks. It's from Wicked Clothing.
I dig it.
Cupid bought.
Hot.
You will die of love.
Die of love. That's what I
dig
tell
it.
Matt all the
Awesome.
time.
Yes. She continually threatens to kill me with love.
Matt's got his passive aggressive shirt on today.
There's
No, man, I'm not mad.
Yes, you are. You're always mad. What are you talking about? Mr.
Looking
SJW.
at
hate
you,
that shirt.
Vader.
You mad, bro? No.
Can't believe somebody would call you an
I
SJW.
know.
Well, he is,
After-
he is a salty justice warrior.
Yes, that's what you should have said. You're goddamn right. I'm the salty justice warrior.
I told one person, it's like, maybe this show isn't for you. Kaboom! It's like, that's what SJWs say. So, oh, sorry. Man,
No, they SJW say it wasn't made for you.
Tea, buddy, will you cheers me?
Yeah, cheers. I just like yelled into the microphone. Sorry.
Sorry to the editor who has to listen to this later.
It's okay.
Like,
No,
like-
the episode that we talked about Raising Arizona where we screamed to the microphone for like 5
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah. Or the
I had to do a lot of tricky editing to make that not
Keanu
obnoxious.
Reeves episode where we had to do fire it up, fire it up.
We've done so many episodes, man.
Or no, that was The Crow.
Was it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Die Hard was our 60th
Yes, it was.
weekly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Good stuff. Do you want to get right into like the retrospect thing right now since we're already kind of on the topic?
Yeah.
Oh, member berries.
Member berries.
Let's have a little chat.
You remember when?
Welcome, everybody, and new listeners to the Salty Nerd Podcast. I am the host of this podcast, The Salty Nerd, and I started it because I hated everybody else on the internet. And I was like,
everybody.
so I was like, I might as well put my voice out there and see what happens.
Yeah, so at the end of 2020, this wonderful year, we've decided to do a little retrospective episode, kind of break from tradition a little bit.
Yeah.
And talk about the show and how
Is
far
this-
we've come. And
Is this the View or something? What are
Yes.
we doing here?
Just be happy.
so,
I am not happy. I am not a happy man.
Stop pounding on things. Everyone's screaming today. Can you guys calm down?
Sorry, lady.
God.
So Alex,
Drink
Alex,
your tea, you mad
Did you
Viking.
get- He's a Klingon. Did you find I had like a light bulb moment because we call Vader, one of our co-hosts here, Matthew Vader. I call him the barbarian, and then it turned into
Space Viking.
space Viking, and then I was like, well, he's just a barbarian space Viking, and then I was like, wait a second, that's a Klingon. He's our resident
President
Klingon.
Klingon. So Alex,
Yeah.
what was the impetus for starting the Salty Nerd podcast? Because you had been doing it before the rest of us came on for a few weeks or months
for
or whatever.
It was a while actually, but I just didn't put out that much content.
But you used to do like really long, deep dives.
Oh yeah, we got
Snorefest.
super deep into like nerd movies and stuff.
and you had a different co-host.
I did, yeah. My friend Dusty. I'll explain what happened with him. Like nothing terrible happened, but
We had to kill him.
yeah. No, he just couldn't commit to like a schedule for the podcast. So I was like, all right, well, I got to find somebody who can because he was kind of, I don't want to say unreliable. He just wasn't able to. He had like 4 kids and a big busy life. So I'm like, all right, man. Well, I'd like to put out weekly content. He's like,
Says the
well,
guy who's
I can't do that.
this third in the oven over here.
So let's see what happened. I was like super deep into like Collider Video and their podcasts on movies and several other like big time movie discussion TV shows like Kristen Harloff and Mark Ellis and all those guys. And then 2016 happened and Trump got elected and everybody just collectively lost their mind. And it was like, and I'm not like super right leaning or super left leaning or anything like that. I was
You're very
really
libertarian.
I was really just trying to avoid politics, and for whatever reason, like it just got like injected into every conversation that they were having about movies. And I'm like, well, this is not about Trump, dude. What are you doing? Like, John Schnepp, rest in peace, buddy. He like pulled out like in the middle of a discussion about some movie. He pulled out like this "I hate Trump" sign that he made himself. He's like, "Look, I made this." And
Yeah,
I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
There were a lot of like really good like entertainment and pop culture commentators who I really enjoyed until they started getting like super political.
Yeah, it was weird.
And it was just like, I come to you guys to escape the politics.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Can you please just lay off of it?
So that was my thing for me was like, okay, well, if I can't find content that's allowing me to escape this nonsense that we're dealing with, I'm just going to make it myself.
Yeah.
So I started making it. I asked, at the first I had like my brother-in-law came on for one episode. We talked about movie news. It was real sporadic, like nothing. There was no plan to it.
Did
It
you
was
have
just
any
kinda
equipment?
Yeah, I ordered 2 microphones on Amazon and like a little cheap mixer that I would hook up to my laptop. I had some real cheap equipment. I think the microphones were like $30. So it was like $60 for that, and then like $100 for the mixer, and then my laptop, which I already had, and that was it. That's all I had, and it was terrible. Like I go back now and I listen to those episodes, and I'm like, I can't do it, man. They're so bad. The quality is just awful.
I can't listen to our current content.
No,
so that's okay.
But anyway, so I started doing that, and then once I asked Dusty, we did like some really cool deep dives. There's actually a couple episodes I'm really proud of. We did a deep dive on the Marvel universe and like what it means to be a connected, intertwined story. It kind of all started with the Universal Monsters movies, and then Marvel and Disney kind of perfected it with the Marvel universe. And then we did another deep dive into Star Wars, which I loved. And then we did one in Indiana Jones, which it's awesome. Like my kind of goal was kind of like to educate myself on film history and kind of get knowledgeable about this kind of thing. And I love those episodes. They were a ton of fun, but we just couldn't do them consistently enough to get out good content. So Dusty, stepped away, and then I kind of talked to you guys. We used to meet up at the coffee shop at Grouchy John's.
Can I interject?
Yeah, go ahead. What happened? Tell me my history.
He wants to interject.
What had really happened was
So what happened was
So after The Last Jedi came out, I was feeling very disappointed, I guess you could say.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I was looking for some type of outlet with which to express my disappointment, and that led me to Twitter. And I'd been on Twitter for like years, but I'd never really like used it.
Yeah.
And one day I was, sitting down here on the couch, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to figure out this Twitter thing. That's Jude pouring her
We're
tea.
professionals here.
Professionals.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that would be so loud.
Slurp, glug, glug, glug. All right.
Matt's gonna beat me.
I'm over here burping.
Sorry.
Matt's talking, guys. We can be as rude as we
Yeah,
want.
exactly. So I get on Twitter, and I just start tweeting about everything that's wrong with The Last Jedi. And before I know it, I get a lot of attention for some reason. And, I begin seeing these accounts that normally respond to me. And one of them was the Salty Nerd account, which was Alex. And I didn't know it at the time, but he lived in Las Vegas as well. And one day I saw a tweet from him talking about Galaxy Theaters. And I was like, dude, are you local? and he's like, yeah, I am. And so I was like, dude, we should meet up.
Yeah.
And so one day we decided to meet up at Twin Peaks, which is kind of like a highbrow Hooters, and in town.
Jude's like, oh, wonderful.
I like Twin Peaks.
Do you?
Me
Oh,
too.
good. Thank God. I do too.
So,
Awesome.
Good margaritas.
So Alex was
And
like,
the mountains. You can't beat the view of the mountains.
The view is amazing.
yeah. So Alex was like, hey, I know this other guy in town. His name is Matt. Do you mind if he joins us? And I was like, no, the more the merrier. And so that was the first time I met Mr. Vader over here. And it was also the first time I met Alex, and we just got together and had a nice lunch.
Yeah. It's cool.
And we started meeting up at this coffee shop, which is a favorite of Vader's. And we would just sit around and talk about movies and TV shows that we were watching.
And it was right about the time where I'm like, I need to figure out a way to make consistent content. And I was like,
and one day we were like,
why don't we just record what we're doing right now?
Yeah,
Because we had some epic conversations.
We do.
Yeah, we did. And me and Vader just looked at Alex and we were like, dude, why don't you just have us on your podcast?
Yeah.
And it was like a light bulb went off in Alex's head. He was like, maybe I should have you. It's like, you guys are local. You can commit to a schedule.
Just bring your phone to the coffee shop and push record.
Yeah.
That was the original idea.
Yeah, but it eventually morphed into you would turn your living room into like a little recording studio where
Yep.
we'd have the TV on the wall and this fold-out table, and you'd bring out all your $30 mics and your mixer, and we would just sit around and just talk about whatever interested us, kind of like how we did at the coffee shop.
Yeah. It was good. And just a real quick backstep, the Salty Nerd, originally this podcast was going to be called Nerdgasm. And it was going to be with me, my friend Jenna, who's a big-time cosplayer, goes to Comic-Con every year. my friend Cameron, he's also a huge nerd, and we were like, we should do a podcast together. Yeah, it'd be great. And I'm like, I want to call it Nerdgasm, like just something stupid. And then
Copyright.
I went on iTunes. I'm like, I gotta check to make sure there's no other Nerdgasm. There were like 8. I'm like, well, that's out. So
nerds love to gasm.
Yeah. So I went on. I was on social media at one point, and I remember the backlash with The Last Jedi. And I think it was Pablo Hidalgo or somebody from Lucasfilm said something that just kind of struck me. Like basically said anybody that doesn't like The Last Jedi is just a toxic, salty nerd. And I'm like, I'm going to own that.
Yeah.
I'm going to own that name, and I'm going to turn it into something good. Because I'm not going to let this dude dictate my thoughts are somehow toxic. Like, no, dude, that's not how this works. So I took that name, Salty Nerd, and it is what it is now. It's way bigger than I ever thought it was going to be. I just was hanging out with nerds and talking movies and stuff.
Yeah, and I remember when we first started going over to your place to record, Vader had like a throat issue for like 3 months.
I wonder what that was.
Hey, what's that, guys?
He had no voice.
He coughed
all the time,
incessantly.
and I never cut it out. That's the other thing too, is I used to go, like, my original idea behind this was like kind of, I listened to a lot of Joe Rogan, and he doesn't cut anything out. Like, people's phones go off, he coughs, there's shit happens in the podcast, and he doesn't care, he just lets it go. So that was kind of my idea. I'm like, I should just, just free form discussion, blah 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 blah. And then Katie starts like, hey dude, it sounds like shit. I'm like,
I'm going to make a studio in my house.
let's change things up. Let's make it a little bit better.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
So,
it was funny because fast forward to, like, we were doing the show at your house for a couple months, and when COVID started, that kind of gave, like, you guys were both off of work. And, the highlight of my week, at least, was, coming over to Alex's place and just chit-chatting with you guys.
Yeah.
And so, I had been kind of looking at, like, I had never even thought about podcasts before, like, I got involved with you guys.
When you first started, you were like, we should just buy USB mics. And I'm like, don't do it, Cadis.
Yeah, I had no concept of audio quality or anything like that.
Like, the only reason I didn't have, like, nice stuff was because I was super broke. So I was like, I can't buy the expensive mics. But I at least knew, I'm like, I need a mixer, I need XLR, I need phantom power. Like, I knew the basics of what I needed. And then, of course, we kind of met Ro from Chicago, who runs the Scarif podcast. And I would call him and be like, hey, man, what should I do with this? Because I'm trying to get this kind of sound. And he sent me mics, and he sent me all kinds of cool equipment to help me out. So he's super generous, and it helped me kind of build my foundation of knowing how to use audio equipment and stuff like that.
Yeah, but when the lockdowns happened in March of this year, 2020, we all kind of got together, and I pitched you guys, like, what if we tried doing, like, making this a professional production? Like, what if we invested in some equipment and, start creating kind of evergreen content where, people could listen to anything in our back catalog, and it would be just as relevant like 10 years from now as it was today. Because when we were doing the show at your house, we were kind of doing a lot of topical stuff, like movie news, trailer reactions, things like that, things that we would talk about over coffee, basically.
Yeah, but it didn't have legs, though, because people would not want to go back and, like, oh, let's hear what they had to say about the Wonder Woman trailer. Nobody cares.
Exactly. So we were like, what if we start creating content that was a little bit more like evergreen? And we kind of sat down and planned out the format of our shows, and I invested in some professional audio equipment because I never do anything half-assed.
No, you do not. No, you do not.
And Jude and I had this room in our house. It was a dining room that we, like, never used. It was always blocked off.
Once a year we used it.
Yeah, we used it for, like, Christmas dinner or something like that.
It's like that room in your mom's house you're not allowed to go into.
Yeah.
So this
Kate
is the front
had
door
one.
room.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. So, like, for people who don't know, like, the front door is literally right there. And it's like, when somebody comes over to your house, which you guys have a lot of guests and a lot of friends, immediately
We get a lot of deliveries, too.
Immediately they see my logo and this giant professional studio setup. That's got to bring up a ton of questions.
Yeah.
Do people like, what is this?
Yeah, like every time we have, like, the bug sprayer guy,
The Orchid Man.
or or anyone that has to come into the house for any reason, the plumber, the electrician, anyone who's dropping off deliveries. Sometimes we get some big deliveries and we'll have them just, like, set it inside the door.
Yeah.
And there's no mistaking the studio. They're always just like, oh man, what you got? can I take a picture? Like, we've had people like come in, strangers have come in and taken pictures
Really?
of our house.
Oh,
yeah.
that's hilarious.
I would tell them it's a guerrilla radio station for the resistance.
Yeah.
We got to backtrack real quick because it was a sausage fest for a little while.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the
Oh, yeah.
I was going to
Kate
say, and Jude
Kate
doesn't matter.
Kate just comes to the show. Oh, hey guys, my girlfriend, she really wants to be on the show. Do you think she can come be on the show next week?
I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
I'm like, no fucking girls allowed.
I was like, more merrier, man. And I also like legit.
She a nerd? Is she a nerd,
Yeah.
Kate?
Well, she is, but she doesn't like Star Wars.
No.
You guys are such snobs about what constitutes as a nerd.
No,
Does she like Star Wars? No.
If
Like,
you don't
fuck
like
her.
the specific nerd things I like, you're not really a nerd.
What about Star Trek? Nope.
Well,
nerd card revoked.
I think the impetus for it was we were at the time we were watching this show on Apple TV called C, starring Jason Momoa, about a bunch of blind people.
And I was like, I have got to be a part of this.
Yeah, and Jude and I, we would watch it together, and we would just laugh our asses off. And I was like, you have to come be a part of our discussion on this stuff. And so, like, I talked you guys into letting her come on.
It wasn't that hard of a talk, though. It was kind of
No.
like, she's a nerd. She likes these kind of shows. And I
like,
honestly
okay,
was like, no, I'm serious. We don't want this to become a sausage fest. We need some other perspective. Otherwise, it's just going to be an echo chamber.
Hence the ambassador of estrogen.
I did the fashion report for the
Oh,
C-
that's
the C
right.
shows.
The,
Sorry, I keep banging on the table.
Speaking of C, I found my my copy of the Bible the other day.
Your shoelace?
My shoelace. Right? Tied into some knots.
so we
Well, this
tried,
is-
like,
First John.
so for
God
people
so
who don't
loved the
know,
world that he gave his only begotten.
some of our earliest content is a review of this TV show on Apple TV called C, starring Jason Momoa.
They're doing a season 2.
I know they
Oh,
are.
They're
can't
filming
wait.
it right
It's
now.
going to be a prequel, though. Isn't it?
We would record our reviews, and we would go so hard on this show. I actually started feeling bad for the blind people
Yeah.
because I had watched a documentary at one point on the show just to kind of like educate myself on it, and it's like legit like hiring disabled blind people to come in on the set and like talk to them about how things would be if they were in this situation, and like,
But the
and I'm like,
show is so ridiculous.
and I'm like,
Yeah, but
I'm
then-
like, oh my god, I'm like trashing these disabled
But then,
people.
but then Jason Momoa throws a fucking sword
know, I know.
50,000 feet ahead of him and knocks 18 guys off a cliff.
I felt
and he's
so
blind.
bad. I felt so bad.
Can't get
So
into
we,
that.
I think one night Jude came in. You were like super blitzed.
Yeah,
pretty
she,
drunk.
You were drunk.
She was drunk and wearing a very tight dress.
Yes, and
Oh,
we
that
did
was
it.
the night the boobs were on the
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, guys. Plop.
Like Vader literally had his hat over his eyes to try to avoid insulting me. Or something.
Respect. I respectfully hide my eyes while we talk about blind people.
Like, Kadish, your woman's tits are all over the table.
So we did.
What's going on
We
here?
recorded this review, and I was like editing it, trying to. I'm like,
It was the most batshit crazy
this
review.
I'm like, this was not. I could not publish it.
like
Still one of our all-time funniest shows.
yeah, drunk Jude was in true form that
Oh,
night.
good lord!
Was this the...
Yeah, that's what you were doing. Yeah, covering your eyes with your hat. Like, I can't look at Jude right now. And she was sitting right across, right from you. I was like, oh boy. Yeah, so I recorded that episode, and I was trying to edit it, and I'm like, I can't release this. This is too much. And we kind of just stopped doing C.
We did. That was it.
That was the episode that broke it.
It
Yeah.
broke the episode.
I broke it.
Yeah.
Broke the podcast. So I think we might have a resurgence. Depends. We'll see what
Yeah,
season
we'll see
two
what
brings.
season 2.
I think
But,
we should do a season recap.
Yeah.
We don't have to go episode by episode.
No, please, yeah.
But we'll do a season recap. And then I think that we should do season 2.
I think.
Chet,
But,
chet.
but rewinding,
Chet.
rewinding just a little bit. So we basically invested in a lot of equipment. We got a brand new conference table to replace our dining room table.
We got a pod puppy.
We got a Rodecaster Pro, which is a kind of a mixing board, and we got some very professional mics.
Yep, the Roadcasters. These are the $100 versions, right? Because there's two versions.
These mics are called the Podcasters, and they're $99 each.
Yeah.
And so we set up like the conference table with the Rodecaster and the mics with the boom arms, and we felt very professional.
Oh yeah, I still feel kind of weird.
But you know, the dining room, our studio, has very high ceilings, and we didn't have any sound treatment or anything like that. So the podcast was very echoey, despite our professional equipment.
The editing software You all right? Yeah. What are you doing? Are you decorating it? It's our Christmas tree. What was I going to say? I don't remember.
We're talking about echo.
Oh, the echo. Yeah, like when I'm in editing, and I've learned a lot about the editing process. Like when I first started this, I knew nothing, and I still use Audacity because it's free and it does pretty much everything that I need it to do. And it's got so many more options that I don't even know how to use yet. So I don't foresee a circumstance where I'm not going to be able to use Audacity, which is an awesome free to use program that you can download for anybody who wants to get started in podcasting or audio editing. It works phenomenally. And there's a couple of tricks that you can do to kind of like limit the echo and do a better job of making everything sound cleaner. And at first it was pretty tough because the echo was really bad. But now we have some soundproofing up on the windows and on some of the bigger areas in the wall. So
little by little, we started filling in the studio as time went on. And, Jude and I invested in some sound treatment where we got these very heavy sound blankets that we've put up around the wall. We got a nifty little backdrop.
Yeah, my bricks, my Joe Rogan bricks.
Yeah, your Joe Rogan bricks. And we also have a nice little Salty Nerd banner that we have hanging up in the studio. And we just recently got a TV for the studio.
So we can actually watch videos and trailers and stuff.
It's really distracting when you're trying to talk about something.
It really is.
I noticed you didn't bother to put anything that we watched this week on the TV.
It's because I don't own anything that we watched this week.
I wouldn't blame you.
But in addition to that, we also invested in some video equipment because we want to eventually record the podcast as video and upload it to YouTube and stuff like that. That's been a little bit more pricey, and it's been a little bit more complicated than the audio stuff.
Yeah, the guys who do that for a living, shout out to them. Like guys like Tim Pool, and they have like huge studio setups with multiple cameras.
But it's funny, every time I watch like a Tim Pool or a Joe Rogan video, I look at their mics and I'm like, that's $400.
Yeah.
That's $400.
Yeah, exactly.
That's $3,000.
Yeah, the other equipment is
at least we have the brick background for when
we do video.
$30.
Yeah, it's dope.
But so over the course of the year, we just kind of bit by bit start building out the studio. And now I think the echo is kind of under control.
Yeah, and I can fix it in post for sure. It's still here. If you listen to like just the raw audio on my like big headphones that I use at my house, you can definitely hear an echo. But a couple of little tricks in the editing software, and it minimizes it to the point where you can't even hear it, especially not for the final product. So,
but just looking at like where we came from, like that initial meeting in Twin Peaks to your house and recording on those $30 mics. And now it's almost like we're on par with, like actual like radio people.
I feel like we are.
Yeah, I think we are. Too.
Audio's good as long as our content stays good, and that's from our listeners. Like our listeners are 100% the reason why we do this. Again, the thing about trying to get to the escape from this world that we live in, like my first and primary goal is to provide content for people that they can just listen to and not have to think about work or politics or anything going on in the real world. If you just want to escape and sit down and chat with your friends about movies, like that's kind of what is the reason we're doing this. So if we ever lose that, I expect our listeners to check us on it.
Yeah.
So that's my main thing. And having friends like Kadish and Matt and Jude, like it's become this whole new experience for me where I don't think it ever, in my head, I never saw it going this far.
Well, with my background in film production,
we're talking some charts
I
now.
kind of like sat down with you guys and was like, look, guys, here's how we do a professional product.
So here's how it happened. It's like I get a text. Hey, guys, production meeting at my house at 10 o'clock Thursday. I look at my wife and I go, production meeting? The fuck is he talking about? Production meeting.
He had his director hat on and everything.
Oh, yeah.
He said that.
Yeah, and
my wife's all, I don't know.
And
okay, then I go home. I come over here, and then I go back home after the meeting, and I slap a 40-page business plan. And my wife, I go, here, can you read this and tell me if it's important?
I still have that on my
I do
nightstand.
too. Yeah, this is pretty
Still
funny.
waiting to be read.
No, I read it. I read through it every once in a while just to make sure we're doing what we said we were going to do.
Like, this Kadish dude's crazy.
Dude, like he said, he never does anything half-ass, and that's legit. And I'm not going to act like everything's rainbows and unicorns all the time. We butt heads all the time about stupid shit.
Right.
And I look back at it now, and I'm like, why was I so upset about that?
We're still
I don't
here.
know, but I'm still kind of upset about it.
We're still here.
Like, why did you change the title, Kadish? I get irritated at the
Well,
stupidest
you
things.
guys get a little nitpicky about
The
stuff.
creative side. You know what
Yeah.
it is? Is Kadish is the left side of the brain.
Yeah.
He's the analytics. He's
Yeah.
the organization. He's that. And I'm like the creative, free-flowing. Everything's happy-go-lucky.
Hippy dippy.
Hippy-dippy.
And I'm kind of in here in the middle going,
You guys need to shut up.
Everything is
And I'm on the other
It
side
look-
going,
it looks
can't you guys
fine.
just get along?
Can we stop fighting, please?
It looks okay. Are you guys going to argue? Okay, well, I'm not going to come to talk to you today.
Vader hates
Yeah,
confrontation.
conversation is not
It's
your
like, you guys take care of that shit.
I'll come back when everything's fine.
It's like, are you good? Okay.
No, it is funny because like if you listen to our episodes, we sound very harmonious, but like sometimes behind the scenes we have like
Oh, we turn the mics off. We yell at each other.
yeah, we have some disagreements, but it's always
Yeah, last
coming-
week was weird. It's like, I'm just gonna push
Well,
the
you know
mic.
what, though? It helped, though, didn't
No,
it?
it always does.
It helped.
My wife and I scream at each other quite a bit, quite often. And
like
we're-
about dark meat chicken.
oh, yeah.
We're
I
still
wish you would just
talking
learn
about
how
that.
to eat dark meat chicken.
His Vader's wife hates dark meat chicken.
Oh, just put some ranch on it. You'll be all right.
Yeah,
Italian dressing.
Cholula.
Chicken and Italian dressing is
Sriracha.
dope. But anyway, so yeah, we've come a long way, and it's to the credit of Kadish. I don't want to I don't want to say anything. How do I say this? I don't want to lessen the amount of work that he puts in to create the content as good as it is. Because if it was up to me, we'd probably still be using those cheap ass mics. But Kadish, he does a lot of work behind the scenes on analytics and making sure he's researching all the topics that we're talking about. Like, he puts in way more time than I think anybody else, and we kind of give him shit about it.
I put in 0 time.
Yeah, I put in some
We're
time.
lucky
Well,
if
no,
Vader
that's not-
watches the movie.
That's no, I do watch the movies, and
Oh, we're saying we're lucky that you do. That you put in that much effort.
sometimes trying to find the time to watch the movies sucks.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
does.
I've got 2 kids and 1 on the way,
Yeah.
so things get a little tight sometimes. But
I have a method where I watch one during the week, I watch 2 movies during the week, and then on my weekend, usually yesterday,
binge 2 more.
I binge 2 more, one with the wife and just one later.
I
But
think
then stuff like happens last night, and Amazon Prime or whatever, my router decides to take a dump, and I'm like, oh god,
I'm not going to be prepared.
they're gonna yell at me tomorrow. So why didn't you watch the movie? It's like, well,
But it is funny.
But
So
it
like
worked out.
when we were doing the show at your place, Alex, do you know how many like followers we had in total?
I knew.
it was like 90 something.
Yeah, so I used Buzzsprouts early on. I subscribed to their system, and they did have a really good analytics. I love Buzzsprouts analytics. I can't say anything bad about it. But I think we were getting like 30 downloads per episode total, like all time. Like that's as high as it would ever go. And I was thrilled with that. I was like, holy shit, like 30 people listen to my podcast. That's amazing. And then once Kadish kind of like educated us on the analytics side and how to like do keyword search and all that crap I hate to talk about, it's boosted way up to now we're like number 90 in film review on iTunes for worldwide, globally. And I'm like, Jesus. And it's always weird to me.
on Star Wars weeks.
Yeah, on Star Wars. Yeah, Star Wars is a freaking cash cow. No wonder Disney bought that thing.
Yeah, well,
Well, it's no wonder
imagine what it could be.
Yeah, right.
it's no wonder YouTubers constantly talk about it.
Yeah, it drives me up a wall because
But-
I really don't like that stuff. But it can't be denied how important it is. So
Yeah, but after we started taking the podcast seriously, our numbers like really grew. We've got close to 600 followers on Spotify now as of this recording. And I believe that accounts for like 35% of our audience. The rest, like I think 41% is on iTunes.
yeah, if anybody knows how to read iTunes analytics, please let us know because we're so confused.
But I would estimate that we've got at least like 1,200 subscribers across all the different podcast platforms.
Joe Rogan, look out.
Yeah.
So like we went from like 30 to like
A couple, possibly a couple,
1,200.
potentially.
So what is that, like 30 to 1,200? What is that?
Percentage wise,
Yeah.
pretty freaking high.
Yeah.
So if we can do that again this year,
Yeah, that's
in
the
a
goal.
year we're going to be pretty.
We're gonna be doing
pretty
all
good.
right. You know,
Well, I think once we start doing the video stuff in conjunction with the
Yeah.
audio stuff,
Yeah.
Well, just don't point it at me.
but I mean,
Get
like,
shy.
like we got to interview like professional Hollywood film directors and writers this year.
Yeah,
with
that was pretty
Ian
dope.
and Nishan Gnomes.
Yeah, they were kind
Nelms.
enough. Nelms. See, it's not that easy, is it?
And it's Esham.
Esham.
Yeah, Big E.
Big E. Yeah, it's cool. It's been growing, and my my presence on Twitter, which like the only reason I ever downloaded Twitter was to promote the podcast. That was my main goal, and now I've kind of gotten sucked into the culture of Twitter, and it's like, it's a dangerous line to be walking.
Well, we also have a lot of our patrons.
Oh yeah,
in the Twitter DM room.
Oh yeah, for sure. We have a great group of friends, content creators, and our patrons that we chat with on the daily inside of our League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and Lady, because Jude's the only woman in there so far.
I'm never in there though.
I know.
It's only when you guys talk about something weird I pop in. I'm like, Mer?
Yeah, like a van.
Yeah. Did you see Nick's van with the freaking thing?
I did.
On it?
I'm upset.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you jealous?
That's my van.
It was pretty cool. But we have great supporters and great patrons. Nick, of course, is one of the most generous patrons out there. He listens to like 75 different podcasts.
He sent us those salt shakers.
Yeah, the salt shakers. Those things are awesome. And then we have, of course, Ro, who's also very generous, a friend of mine from Chicago that I met online. And I help him out with the podcast when I can. But he has his own thing, and he started the Red 5 Network. If you guys listen to our Mandalorian episodes, you'll know that we're part of our big Red 5 family where there's a bunch of Star Wars
I don't know why
podcasts.
they keep us.
I don't either. We're so salty compared to everybody else.
It's like we just completely shit on that show compared to everybody else in the network. It's
all right.
funny.
It's good balance.
And bringing in Tom to talk about it.
Oh yeah, Tom, Jude's friend Tom.
Fun.
It's been a lot of fun.
COVID Tom.
He's everyone's friend now.
Yeah, right. We got Price of Reason, of course, a big time YouTuber. Makes his freaking Twitter is like every time he touches
Gold,
something,
man.
it just turns into gold. 5,000 likes.
He's curated
Boom.
that. He's curated that stuff.
I don't know how he does it.
Meticulously.
It's magical.
Yeah.
It's magical. And we got Haas Boy, of course, down under, from Australia, one of our awesome patrons. And
we're very big in Australia.
We're big in New Zealand.
New Zealand.
We're like top 10 in New Zealand.
Yeah,
I'm
like we're like consistently in the top 10. And
How many people are in New Zealand?
Not that many,
It's like,
apparently.
it'd be like the city of Las Vegas on a big island. Is that about it?
That's weird to
I
me,
think
though.
it's smaller than the city of Las
Thank
Vegas.
you for
Well, we got 2 million
listening.
people.
Yeah,
All
New
of you out
Zealanders.
there, we're sitting here talking about our numbers.
Our Kiwis rule.
You're not just numbers, you're people, and we really appreciate that you take the time to listen to
No,
us.
it's super awesome, and I am thrilled. I've always wanted to go to New Zealand and visit like the Lord of the Rings set and all the beautiful.
Is there any other reason to go to New Zealand?
Oh, how dare you, sir!
I'm trying to convince Kadish that on our honeymoon we should go to Scotland so that we can do the Game of Thrones tour, the Outlander tour.
Yeah,
I mean, since those movies came out,
Lord of the Rings.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why do most people
It's
go
a
to New Zealand?
beautiful country.
I understand that, but it's like I want to go to Middle Earth,
Sam Neill is from New Zealand.
and that's how they
Jurassic Park.
even market it that way, right?
So many things that can kill you there.
No, that's Australia.
Oh, I assumed it was the same.
No.
No,
It's a
New
different
Zealand
island.
is an island,
No, I know.
a separate
but
island. Is Australia considered an island?
It's a
Well, it's a
continent.
continent.
It's a continent, but yeah, it's just
Okay.
a giant island, right?
It used to be a prison island.
They don't have
for
those
the-
giant
for the British.
bugs. They don't got those giant bugs.
No,
That's
Not New
Australia.
Zealand.
Oh, okay. I'll
New
go
Zealand
to
has-
New Zealand then.
They have dinosaurs.
One of my biggest book fans is from New Zealand.
Right on. Maybe that's where it's coming from.
Maybe.
But anyway, okay. And then Corey, of course, our newest patron. He just joined recently. Super helpful and super glad that anybody's even like considered giving us money for the content that we make. It's
I mean, like when I sat you guys down with that big business plan back in March, the goal was to grow the podcast to the point where all of us could do it full time.
yeah.
And that means, earning an income to replace, our current day jobs.
I think me and Vader are still kind of in denial that that's even possible.
But I mean, like, if you think about it, like,
It's been a year. Okay, I still have a job. I am not happy about it.
but I mean, like, bit by bit, we're getting new patrons and we're now earning commercial.
Oh, yeah,
revenue.
We switched over to a new service called Spreaker.
Oh, yeah, where's my coffee?
Where's
my $6 coffee for this week?
We're doing all right. We're doing all right with that. So hopefully the addition of ads hasn't put anybody off. But I've spoken with some of our the most loyal listeners that I can get a hold of, and they all say it's all good, man.
Yeah,
We're happy to support you.
They're not intrusive.
Yeah, they're like 15 seconds.
Yeah,
each,
they're super quick.
something like that.
Yeah. Speaking of, here's a word from our sponsor.
I say we do this one commercial free.
All right, sounds
for
good.
the holidays.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is holidays, huh?
So I think we can all agree one of our favorite episodes that we recorded was Viking.
Oh,
Week.
hell yeah.
Yeah, that was
But-
a
Yeah,
fun
you're
one.
welcome, by the way.
Though I think the one movie that I think about the most since we started doing this is The Angry Red Planet.
Oh, really?
I think about that movie. It just pops
Don't
into
be
my
a hysterical
brain
woman.
all the time. And
Hey,
I
doll.
just still have so many questions.
I need you to go into the spaceship kitchen and make me a sandwich.
I chose.
Yeah,
so we did.
Jude,
What would
do you want to explain Angry
Dr.
Red
Ladypots, why don't you go make me a sandwich?
No, it was the retro rewatch.
That's right. Retro
Yes.
rewatch.
The retro we watch.
Watch, well,
And,
watch.
and your movie was the only retro movie. Like the rest of us chose
We
like,
chose
80s
80s movies.
movies.
It was
Yeah.
Night of the Comet,
Oh yeah, that's
Angry
right.
Red Planet,
Tango and Cash.
Tango and Cash.
And Escape from New York.
Oh, we did 4 movies?
We did. Yeah.
Oh, man, we did so much.
Wait, there's so much content.
Well, that was before we were doing the
Good for
focus show.
us.
yeah. So we've changed our content up a little bit. We
Yeah,
use-
that was before we kind of moved to the evergreen format.
yeah.
It was kind of the
It was right at the
transition.
beginning of
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, good. It was a good episode.
And we were
it was
talking
from
about
like the 50s, right?
Mhm. Yep.
And it was a black and white movie.
actually
about-
no, it was
No, it was
colored.
retro colored.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
In my brain when I picture it,
It's black and white.
It's
Yeah,
black
it
and
is.
white because it's from a time period where things are in black and white.
Yeah.
It's like
in my head.
rotoscope or
yeah,
something
some
like that. right?
crazy new technology they thought was
Yeah.
going to be the biggest thing ever.
They send a spaceship up to Mars to see what's up with the angry red planet, and Mars attacks these scientists and astronauts. But every single astronaut in the spaceship treats the one female astronaut like she's their maid. They're
It's so
just always
funny.
like, we should slap her. She's being a hysterical woman. And then she wakes up from having fainted and she's like, I'm sorry, I was being an hysterical woman. And then they're like, you'll feel better once you make us sandwiches.
You know what though? She's the only one who survived that whole thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
she is.
like the smartest person
And-
in the whole movie.
And what about the captain with the chest hair who kept
Oh
seducing
yes.
her?
Oh,
Never
yeah.
zips his onesie up.
That's
yeah.
Captain Chesthair.
Yeah,
Captain Chesthair. Yeah, that was a great movie. I picked
Space
it.
Commander
I
Chesthair.
picked it solely on the picture on the cover. I was like, oh, that's
where
a good movie.
That's where Bat Rat Spider Crab came
yeah,
from.
Bat Rat Spatter Crab. We can get that
We
shirt.
need to do another retro we watch.
I would love to.
Can you guys learn how to say it?
I say it bad on purpose now.
It's more fun that way.
Yeah, the what's what we watch.
I think okay. So for favorite episodes that I can't get out of my head, of course, Vikings Week was a blast. That
Yeah,
was more.
it was just it was fun talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't know that the episode was actually that good, but we had a really good,
Yeah, we
good
had a
time
blast.
talking
But we
about
got
it.
blasted on
mead. Yeah, we were all drunk on mead that day
Yeah.
too.
But we also got the crew of Norsemen to tweet
Yeah.
at us.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was pretty
Yeah.
cool. It's always exciting when the people who make the stuff that we're talking about
Uh-huh.
interact with us on Twitter. It's pretty cool. But the one episode I cannot get out of my head is the one that almost made Vader quit, and that Kadish made us watch terrible movie.
Yeah,
We
Oh,
chose
come on.
Aliens and Robots, and Jude chose Chopping Mall, which is a hilariously
It's
funny,
still a classic.
terrible,
no, what it
terrible
was,
80s
you
movie.
guys all torqued me off because it was my week to choose the theme.
Yeah.
And I said monsters and robots.
And we chose like the
And you guys
shittiest movies
Gave us
possible.
these bullshit movies.
I chose Godzilla '98.
Yeah, so the
God,
way
I was so mad.
the way that we work is the person who picks the theme doesn't get to pick the movies. So because there's 4 of us, one person picks the theme of the week, and then the other 3 people get to pick the movies that fit in that theme. And when Vader was very excited to do or robots and monsters, and
Yeah.
he was hoping for Pacific Rim,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like all this other
What
stuff.
other movies? Pacific Rim. What else did you have in mind?
Godzilla.
The good one.
Yeah, the good
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
And we just tanked his hopes and dreams with our choices.
We chose the shittiest movies possible.
Well, hey,
Chopping Mall.
You were so
Chopping
mad.
Mall is awesome.
Oh no, it's
I'll
not.
watch Chopping Mall right now.
It's terrible.
I stand by my
Oops.
choose. I think
Yeah, okay.
bad Taste is a fantastic.
So what I was
movie.
like, I've never seen Bad Taste before, and Kadish was like, "It's a Peter Jackson movie," and I was
yeah.
like, "Oh, Peter Jackson? Fuck, all right, cool."
20 minutes off.
Oh my god, it was so
It's
bad.
the only movie this entire year I didn't finish.
You just turned it off.
I just turned it off. I said,
I kept watching.
"The hell, with
I
Kadish,
really
can't watch
respect
this
your
crap."
choice that you made. I wish that I had done that and
I-
saved myself the memory
It's like-
of this movie.
I almost did that with this week's movie that you picked.
I'm really sorry.
So,
I didn't know what it was about.
it's like, what is this Hallmark movie I'm watching right now? But we'll get into that later.
Yeah, we'll get it. It'll be out already, I think, right? Yeah, this is gonna
I
come
don't
out.
know.
This is gonna come
I
out in a
don't-
couple weeks. But yeah,
wasn't that
it was It was Bad Taste. I think is probably the most memorable movie that I watched this year for the podcast. It's never going to leave my head.
I think it's the worst movie I've ever seen.
It's possible. It's very possible. No, you know what? Creepazoids was worse. Creepazoids was so much worse than Bad Taste.
I'm glad I took that week off.
Creepazoids was terrible, but it also had like the charm of what's her name, Linnea Quigley.
It had no charm.
No charm.
Bad Taste was just exhausting and soul sucking.
Yeah, Bad Taste made me feel ill, but Creepazoids made me want to just not watch movies anymore.
It broke you.
It did.
There's that whole montage for 10 minutes of them walking. What do you mean?
The opening credits.
We learned all about bursitis through Creepazoids.
Oh, my bursitis is working up. There's going to be acid rain. It was a terrible movie, and I
agree.
Despise the people who made it. It was so bad. But that was the worst movie I watched this year. But Bad Taste is the one that I think I'll never forget. I'm like, what is because it's Peter Jackson, and like me growing up, Peter Jackson is like the freaking god of cinema. He's up there with like Spielberg and Christopher Nolan and all these other big time guys. Like he made the freaking Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Very disappointing.
And I was like, this is a Peter Jackson movie.
What's funny about that movie is like, Matt he's got some New Zealand friends, and that movie's huge over there.
Oh yeah,
they all love
for
it.
Sure, yeah. Maybe that's why we're big over there, because we
what
talked
is-
about Bad Taste.
Maybe. It's like, what is wrong with these people? What is wrong with you, New Zealand?
It's good stuff. Kadish, what's your most memorable episode for the podcast so far?
You know what's weird? Like, I actually keep a playlist of what I think is our best episodes, but the one that always kind of pops out in my mind, it's so weird. It's the Eurovision episode.
The focused
Running
review.
With the wolves. We're running with the wolves.
You still know the theme song?
Really, I listened to it this morning.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
It's on my Spotify top.
You know who top
playlist of 2020.
You know who requested that? Haas.
Yeah.
Haas DM'd me and he's like, "Hey, would you guys mind
He
doing?"
thought we were going to tear it up, though.
Yeah, but we ended up loving it.
We loved it.
We
was
like
great.
this movie.
Yeah. Play Zha Zha Ding Dong.
Zha Zha, ding dong, ding dong.
Oh,
Yeah.
the fairies, they've gone too far.
We still quote that movie a couple of times a week, at least.
And you know what's the funniest thing? I think we said that Will Ferrell was the weakest part of that movie.
He
Everything
was.
around that, everything
Yeah.
around him in that
I love
movie
the music
was
in
gold.
that movie.
Yeah.
The music in that movie was fantastic. It really was.
Really was.
It's legit.
But in addition to that one, because like when I just think of like our show, for whatever reason, that episode pops into our head. I mean, like you have the fairies murdering a guy by stabbing him in the back. And
the
stuff.
fairies we never actually see.
Yeah.
Just the door closes
yeah.
really fast.
Yeah, and Pierce Brosnan's in it for some reason.
And Nadja.
And
Nadja.
and what's her name? Demi Lovato as the ghost who shows up too late to warn them about anything. But in addition to that, I really liked the episode that we did with JJ from Grouchy John's
Yeah.
Coffee,
Oh, yeah.
where we talked about video game movies.
Yep. That was a good one.
And he showed up thinking that we were going to talk about Super Mario Brothers, and it was really like it was Tron,
Mortal
Kombat. And,
What was the third one? I can't remember.
Let me look it up here.
Oh, that was the other thing that we changed.
Warcraft.
We used to have Warcraft. That's right. We used to
Best
have
movie ever.
we used to title our podcast based off of like a funny phrase that we would say during the recording. Like if
I don't
somebody's,
know why we still don't do that.
I loved it. I thought it was funny, but this is the reason why we don't do
The
it.
director over here.
Because no, but
Like
listen
it.
though.
What?
Like I hated the idea too. I'm like, oh, this is so boring. Titles like this are so dumb and so blah. There's no creativity to it. Creativity, organization, left,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
When I went back and I look at some of our really old episodes that are still titled with those funny little quips, I have no idea what those episodes are about. I'm like, what did we review that day? I don't remember.
Exactly.
So now we look back and I'm like, oh, we reviewed this movie, and this movie. So we changed it for that. But I do miss like the funny little quips and like, oh, that's a t-shirt. Like we don't do that as much anymore. So I feel like we should get back into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the video game episode with JJ, he really brought something cool to that discussion. And then there was Star Wars month.
Our most popular month.
Our most popular month.
Hands down.
Swear to God.
Still, it's getting 1,000 downloads a week.
I needed to take a break from Star Wars after that.
I don't
want to.
Thank God for Mandalorian, but I don't care if I ever see another Star Wars movie again for like at least another couple of years.
Didn't I go out of town while you guys were doing that? So I was like, I'm not doing that.
That's when we got We got Danny for one.
We got,
Yeah.
No, Danny did.
Did both of them?
Well, he did 3 of them, and Jude did the original trilogy.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So, you know, it was basically for the month of May. We all decided, you know,
Star Wars month.
May the Force be with you.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like we were going to do all the Star Wars movies over the course of the month, and it nearly killed us.
We're not doing that again. I was so Star Wars'd out. I was like, Jesus.
You know what week was fun to watch though, to like prepare for the show? Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, hell
yeah.
That was a great week.
Well,
Yeah.
those were 2 weeks.
Yeah.
we did 2 weeks of Van Damme.
June-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah,
Jean-Claude Van Damme. It was,
oh, right, because we did the show.
we
Yeah.
flipped it with Jurassic June. So we watched the Jurassic movies, and then we watched Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
that month.
And we did like, what was it, Bloodsport,
Time
Universal
Cop.
Soldier, Time Cop,
Yeah.
Jean-Claude Van Johnson.
Yeah.
That was good.
I'll do
stuff.
another Jean-Claude Van Damme week right now.
At Hard Target. Remember
Oh,
Hard
God.
Target?
Oh, Hard Target.
So much
We've
fun.
been kind of working through these 80s and 90s.
Yeah, I think at one
action
point
heroes,
I was
right?
like, guys, can you pick something that's not in the 1980s? Like, we're like getting in a
No.
rut. Yeah, right. Yeah, you guys are like, screw you, youngin'.
Yeah, that was the last time movies were good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He kind of was, yeah.
The 90s was trash, we're finding out, because we're kind of in the 90s now.
Because we just got through with a whole month of
90s movies.
basically action stars, kind of, right?
Yeah, we did what? Schwarzenegger September?
We did, but you know, I
We
mean,
didn't
like,
do Stallone yet.
No, we
no,
didn't do
Or
we
Steven
def-
Seagal.
We definitely did
Do we
those
have to do Steven Seagal?
Nick Cage, November.
Oh, yeah.
because we did, you know, Patrick Swayze, Nick Cage,
Keanu Reeves,
yeah,
Sean
So-
Connery.
Rest in
all,
peace, Sean
all
Connery.
good stuff.
Yeah, it's been fun. For me personally, hopefully our listeners like it too, but I like the way that we come up with the movies that we watch. Like we pick a topic and then we're all three of us just like, let's pick the wildest freaking wonky movie we could think of.
Or we're in our private chats without Jude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jude
It's
gets
like,
left out.
You know, whatever.
Jude gets left
She'll
out
like
far
it.
too often.
She'll be okay with it. Don't worry about
Oh, like when Kadish was like, Jude really wants to do Scream Queens. And I was like, no, I don't.
it.
Well, remember when we gave Jude her birthday month to choose whatever she wanted?
Yeah. Oh, the whole month. You did was it August Bites?
Vampires and Sharks.
I did like that. I like that
Thanks.
month.
That was a good month.
We need to
I'm
do the
sorry
Meg
that
though.
you didn't do vampires with us.
I know I missed. What was?
You were out of town, I think.
Yeah, I think I was. Something came up.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever somebody has like, you know, of course our families come first when it comes to this kind of stuff, and whenever somebody has to bail out, we usually try to fill the spot with the guest or a
Random off the street.
random somebody like, hey, do you like movies? Like, come on in.
Unfortunately, people aren't very reliable.
It's not all the time.
Yeah.
I think we're doing okay with Tom though. Tom seems to be doing all right.
That's
But
good.
I think I need to start calling some of my friends and seeing if anybody wants to show
You
up.
have friends?
I do.
Good for you.
Maybe I could get Dusty to come back for one episode. That'd be kind of wild having him back here.
Vader, what's the episode that sticks out most in your mind?
Oh, we've kind of touched on most of them. My favorite one was definitely Viking Week, though. I'm with Jude there.
Yeah.
I had a ton of fun watching Norseman.
Oh, the Norseman was
Yeah.
great.
Norseman is such a
Norseman
great
was
show.
so
Binging that
great.
stuff and
I
The,
honestly,
the shitting log.
yeah, it was so funny.
Like
I'm really hoping for another season. I know that
Netflix canceled it.
Yeah, I
but-
know that they're not renewing it, but I'm hoping for another
I
platform.
think another platform can pick it up, or
Yeah.
you know, people just need to just flood their social medias.
Yeah, if you haven't
Give
watched
us an episode,
Norseman,
season 4.
do it.
I've got
It's
some
so good.
Get off your ass sickle.
Get off
Yeah.
your assicle and do it, and you'll get that joke
Right,
later.
Netflix.
Like,
You'll get
I
that
honestly,
joke after the first episode.
That's one of the few shows I wouldn't mind doing like a focus review on.
Yeah, dude. Jarl Varg with the metal hands.
So
if
good.
we could get somebody from the show on the
that'd be
podcast to
blast.
interview,
I
I,
just
would lose my mind.
I love how the villain was created by male pattern baldness.
Yep. Yep.
He had this long flowing hair, and then he lost it. And he just went psycho.
And that episode with the dragon killed me.
Oh, God, yeah.
Absolutely killed me.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there to watch, and I hope we can. I hope we guide our listeners to the stuff that we're talking about. Like we spoil everything,
Mhm.
but I still think a lot of the stuff that we spoil is still way worth the watch. Like
Yeah.
just go watch it anyway. It doesn't matter. It's still funny.
Well, you know, like we have a lot of talk about like our group dynamic on the show. Because like you listen, like I've listened to other like film review podcasts, and it's like everyone's almost the exact same person on those podcasts. Where they're like, I'm the jokey guy, and I'm the guy who sits quietly until it's time to chime in with the joke, you know, and I'm the annoying guy who thinks like, you know, he's funny, but he's really not. And I talk way more than I should.
I am all those things.
I laugh too much.
But you know, like on our show, like I'm kind of like, I'm not very funny. So like, I'm kind of
I'm boring,
Yeah.
analytical dude.
yeah, I'm the boring, and
You're very handsome.
I'm the film junkie.
Yeah.
I talk about the film making end of things. So
Yeah.
I try to bring some education to the podcast. Vader is just like, he doesn't give a fuck. He's the color commentator.
You guys are all wrong.
Jude has the woman's perspective on things.
And I'm just what I
well,
think.
Alex, you're the contrarian. You're the guy who has like the exact opposite opinion of the,
Yeah.
of the mainstream.
Almost every time.
Almost every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of funny because like we'll all, Jude, Vader, and I will be talking about this movie that we hate, and Alex is like, I really like that movie.
That was a great movie. What's wrong with you people?
Well, what's really funny to me is like I always feel like I'm in line with you or Jude.
Yeah. Never with
it
Case.
never goes crossways the table.
There was that one time.
Oh yeah, there was.
It hardly ever goes that way.
Vader had to go home and take a nap the one time he agreed with you.
It was very rare that.
What was that movie?
I don't remember.
I think it was.
Raising Arizona?
No, I hated that movie.
No, I believe it was a Sean Connery movie.
Was it? Oh, anyway. One of our, I think it was one of our patrons. It might have been Haas. If it wasn't Haas and it goes to somebody else, I apologize. But somebody said it's like listening to our podcast is like listening to Alex try to wrangle cats. Because
that probably works.
I'm constantly trying to get you guys to I'm trying to squeeze any little juice out of Vader I can get. Like, just talk to me about the movie, Vader. Just say something.
You're
and you're
always
like,
trying to get
"It's
Vader to
stupid."
talk and Kadish to shut up.
Yeah. That's pretty much that's the podcast in a nutshell there.
And then we both go, shut up, you don't like the Goonies.
Yeah. I just get thrown under the bus. You don't like Goonies. Shut up. Your opinion doesn't
We
matter.
don't care what you think.
Oh, it was Cowboys and Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was the movie Vader and I agreed on.
I love that movie. That was our Patreon exclusive
and
week.
Matt got very upset at you because you were making him agree with me.
You guys
knock it
gotta
off.
stop calling each other Matt.
It's Vader and Kadish. That's how we do it.
Oh, yeah, that was the thing, too.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I need you to change the logo.
Oh, yeah.
Because
It's two Matts.
Matt,
Matt and Matt?
Matt and Matt.
No,
Eminem.
we need to change it. So it was Matt and Kadish. Kadish took the last name
okay.
because he has a more memorable last name.
Yes.
Kadish. Like that
it
sounds
goes,
like a
and it
first
goes
name.
with his books.
Yeah.
You have to have that last name to
It's
sell
a
the books.
brand.
Yeah.
It's a brand.
Yeah, it's
It's
weird.
true.
It's weird having my fiance call me by my last name constantly. Like we'll be at home, she'll just be like, Kadish.
Like that must be weird.
Yeah.
Does your wife call you Vader when you go home?
No.
Well, remember when we
you're
were
the only people that call me that.
the first time we met Story, Vader's wife, we were just calling him Vader.
Yeah.
And she's like, why are they calling you this name?
Oh, is that your nerd name?
Guys, I'm a I'm a dark lord of the Sith, woman. Shush.
Yeah, we've had a ton of fun doing this, and I don't see it ending anytime soon. We're still having a blast talking about these movies.
Yeah, I mean, like 2020, overall it was a bad year just in terms of stuff happening.
The worst year.
But in terms of like, us and what we've been able to accomplish.
Well,
I mean, in addition to all this stuff, we also set up like a recording studio in our guest room. So like Jude can pursue her voice acting stuff.
Doing acting now?
I got my commercial demo. I gotta play it for you.
Hell yeah, I want to listen to it.
Yeah, and like, selfishly, like this has actually been like a very productive and good year for
Kadish and I got engaged.
for Jude and I. When I bought her a ring.
Mazel tov.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm having another baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, what a crazy person I am.
We got a new dog.
You guys got a pod pup?
Kurt Russell Terrier.
Kurt Russell Terrier.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's been a good, a terribly good year.
I got a headache.
Priority shift.
Yeah,
sure.
it's cool. It's cool. So hopefully it.
I feel like heading into 2021, like
Don't jinx it.
we've kind of gotten our format down for the show.
Yeah, I think so.
And it'd be really nice if like we could really kind of catch on and grow and maybe get up to like the nerd soup level of like podcasting.
Aaron and Bo and Nash and all those guys.
Yeah, where we got like a couple 100,000 people following us and stuff like that. That'd be nice.
I think we need to get on YouTube more because
That's gonna happen.
I've been getting freaking emails and comments on our Star Wars podcast. That's like up in the thousands, and I'm like, well, when did this happen? That's weird. So I think
I'm looking at this camera tree in front of me right now. Going, well, the YouTube stuff's got to happen sooner or later.
sooner or later, we'll
Otherwise,
get
this thing is just a piece of artwork.
I'm a little. Anybody else a little nervous about doing that though? Because we have a lot of downtime, like that I edit out and like ums and uhs and flubs.
We're gonna record locally and then edit it.
Oh, is that what we're gonna do?
We're not gonna be live streaming.
Okay.
Because I don't want to pay an extra $100 a month for internet down here in the studio.
Yeah. Oh, that's true, huh? Internet around here is terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, we'll grow and hopefully our listeners catch on. Make sure to share the podcast with your friends if you like it. If like Rose says, it feels like you're just hanging out in a pub and drinking and talking about movies with your friends. So
yeah, like we really want the vibe of like you guys are with us in the coffee shop as we talk about terrible movies.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we need. Espresso machine.
Dude.
Well, there's where
We can put one in the van.
Serious. It's like right there next to the TV. He's like, let's do it.
that's where some of our banked money can go.
You know what's funny? I was thinking
Keurig
about
machine at least.
I was
right?
thinking about having a bar on that side where Jude is. It's just, let's make some drinks, Jude.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm good with that too.
Arm length.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some
Arm length
shots.
bar.
I need a shot.
And then every show will be like see episode 3.
Yeah, we'll just all be blitzed.
just play the Super Mario theme.
I
throughout the
will
whole
wear
thing.
I don't know what the fuck I was thinking with that.
I think you were drunk while you were rendering that.
I was like, oh, this will be funny. I'll put the Mario theme behind it. Oh, freaking stupid.
Like it would have been fine if it was just at the beginning.
yeah.
But like you played it throughout
the whole thing.
thing.
I know. I was an idiot. I don't know why I did that. It was
You're not an idiot.
you know what it was? I was so new to editing and I was all like learning new things about my software. And I'm like, oh, this will be cool. Now I know how to do this. So I'm going to do this new trick I learned.
You were like,
That's what it was.
you said like a lot there.
Like. I have to edit a lot of likes
Yeah.
out of Kadish's.
I think
And
that's
basically,
what
you know
we
what
all
else he
say.
says? Basically. You say
Yeah.
basically a lot.
I'm a terrible audio person.
I laugh way too much when I'm listening and I'm editing. I'm like, why am I laughing? I'm laughing for no fucking reason whatsoever.
That's what we do, though.
You cough all the time.
I do, but I always have. I don't know why I cough.
Jude interjects with like random quips that don't make any sense. You do.
Fuck you, Alex.
You jump in there with a joke, and I'm like, why did she say that joke right there?
That joke kills in the 40-year-old range.
Oh, okay. But we all have
the
our
40-year-old stay-at-home mom range.
things. Yeah.
Do we have any of those?
No.
I don't know.
Because, you know, if we can get into the MILF market, that would be.
You know what? Speaking of
okay.
that, like I keep getting these Instagram. Somebody wants to send you a message,
Oh, really?
and listen, if you're hitting me up on Instagram DMs, if you start your message with "Well, hello there," I'm just deleting you. I'm not even reading it.
Is that happening to you?
Yes, a lot.
Oh, wow. That's pretty crazy. Yesterday.
And I'm never on Twitter, so I just
Nobody-
assume that everyone who is listening who wants to talk to me, which I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
But if you start off like a creep,
Like, hey there.
I'm not going to
How
respond.
you doing?
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, hello there. I probably get 30 well, hello there's a month.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny because that's how I got her.
How you doing?
You pulled the
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi? Hello there.
Hello there.
No, yours was a copy and paste that
General
you sent to
Kenobi.
everyone else on a dating
General
website.
Kenobi.
Yeah, and she was like, "Oh, General Kenobi."
All right, guys. Well, that's our kind of retro retro
That was our year in
our
review.
look back, our
Yeah.
year in review. Whatever. I'm drinking. It was our
I wish I
And
was.
my quips don't land.
no. I try to come up with funny things to say and it just never works. I got to stop doing
It's
that.
because you're not funny.
I know.
You just gotta let the moment take the joke.
I
and,
try to do that and I just end up tripping over
Yeah,
myself.
you're funny. You're funny.
But
and
yeah,
that's why you laugh. You're like,
I mean, you're
it was
not.
so funny in my
I'm
head.
an idiot.
You're not Batman wearing the sorting hat funny.
No.
But, you know.
His package. His
Yeah,
package.
we have a life-sized Batman in our studio.
Yeah.
And
like-
he's decorated for Christmas.
And
with
he
a,
has a huge package.
It's like right over Salty's shoulder.
Yeah.
like when we start filming stuff, it's going to be Salty's face
With
and
the package.
Batman's package right next to his face.
We're gonna edit a circle, a little red circle right around Batman's junk. Damn, right
If you
there.
guys would like to get an inside look at what our studio looks like and kind of get a picture of who we are, if you haven't seen yet on any of the social medias what we look like. I know it's always weird for me because when I listen to podcasts, I always have this idea of what these people look like in my head, and then when I find them on social media, I'm like, oh.
I think we need to do one thing this year. I want to do a Halloween party.
That's a little late. Oh, you mean 2021?
2021.
Halloween party?
Yeah,
The
because
worst.
I really want to dress up as the dude off of The Boys with the giant junk.
Love sausage.
Love
Love sausage. I'm gonna get some,
You could pull off a love
I'm
sausage.
gonna
You
get
could.
some gray sweatpants.
You know, if you get a big beard.
Yeah, with the beard.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna like tie a.
Shit.
I'm gonna tie a freaking Hickory Farm sausage.
And Jude could be
Around my
girls
waist.
get it done. Yeah.
All of them.
All
Yeah.
of them, yeah.
2021 looks like it's going to be the year I leave Kadish for Vader.
Well, you gotta talk to my wife there.
I could play doppelganger.
I'll be Huey, just scared out of my mind the
See?
entire time.
I had to bring it down. I had to bring it down before
you'd
before
be
we get out of
butcher.
here.
You'd be butcher, man.
But the butcher, I can't. If I grow my beard out, I can pull off a Billy Butcher. So
Yeah,
I'm
you
all right.
got
with
the
that.
accent down.
well, I'm not going to do it now. I'm drinking. It just come off like a hustle.
Daddy's home.
Daddy's home. Oh, he cunt.
Oh, we did a lot of The Boys this year.
I really enjoyed doing the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And
That sounded weird.
I think it was one of our more popular
Anytime I can get the boys together and do them, that's a good time.
It was one of our more popular episodes too. I've had multiple people come to us and say like, "Hey, I loved your boy reviews because they were so in depth. I felt like I was watching the show with you guys." So
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out another show to do.
You know what was a lot of fun was when we were doing the Avenue 5 series.
yeah,
And it started off like you guys hated the show.
the cruise ship one.
And,
with Hugh Laurie.
Hugh Laurie.
yeah, and I was like, no. Stick with it. Stick with it. And as the series went along, you guys were like, this is hilarious. And like you kind of came around and like we would, this was before we were doing anything structured, and we would just talk about this show, Avenue 5 amongst our regular shows.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of good times talking about that.
Yeah,
show.
it was.
It was funny.
Yeah. So any feedback you guys have for us, let us know. As our listeners, we truly appreciate you. You're taking us to the next level. Hopefully you guys enjoy our content and share it and like it. And if you want to join our exclusive Patreon, go to saltynerdclub.com and you can get behind the scenes stuff. As I always say during every podcast, you guys can help us out, grow the podcast, grow the brand, and help us move up to the next level. And we really appreciate you guys. It's wonderful. I know,
Been a
like,
crazy year.
It's weird talking about analytics to the people who we're getting the analytics from,
Yeah.
but it's like you guys really do. Like it's fun to look at our podcast and go, "Oh, that episode did really good. Okay, cool. We
We have one listener in Kazakhstan.
yeah. Yeah, there's a big global map on the website, and it tells you
Smash.
it tells you where the listeners are coming from. So it's cool. It's a lot of fun, and of course, we love interacting with the people in the group chat.
We're big in Bratislava.
Yeah,
Crapistan.
Rapistan.
Yeah. And if you DM me, start it off with like, "Hi, I'm a listener." I will open it up and read it, and I will respond to you.
I might too. Yeah.
Right on, guys. All right, real quick, let's sign off. Matt Vader, where can they find you?
You can find me at MattVader74
Right on.
on Twitch and Twitter. And
You have a Teespring account now.
I did. I opened it yesterday. I wonder if I sold anything.
I don't know. I might need to get your shirt.
Speaking of that, all of these garbage photo editing programs out there,
Yeah.
they're all crap.
Yeah.
It's like the best one to use is PicMonkey.
PicMonkey?
Yep.
On your phone or?
Wherever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to
You
check
can
it out.
edit that out, but I just was saying, it's like I literally spent like 2 hours yesterday with GIMP and these other programs that I downloaded and messed with, and it's like I couldn't figure them out. And then I went, wait a second, my wife has a premium PicMonkey account that she uses for work, and I had that thing done in 5 minutes.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, super simple for idiots like me.
I use Inkscape
Yeah,
for our T-shirts.
yeah, that was another one I couldn't figure out.
No? Oh,
Yeah.
I like that one. Jude, where can they find you?
You can slip into my DMs on Instagram and Twitter at I am Jujuju.
There you go. Slip. She said slip.
Yeah.
You're really dirty today.
What? What do you mean?
It's usually slide.
Oh.
Slip.
Yeah, slip is
like-
kind of dirty.
Yes.
You need to
Jesus.
quit drinking that tea.
Slip's the dirty one.
Circle.
Get your
She's
tits
got a-
off the table.
She's got a
Come
mug
on.
that says
Did
tears.
you say get my tits off the table? Fuck you.
Yeah, he doesn't want to have to keep hiding his eyes.
You scarred him for life.
I started wearing T-shirts for you guys.
It's like, those are Matt's, not mine.
Technically, they're mine, and I can do whatever I want with them, Vader.
Yeah,
All right.
Fight the patriarchy. Baby.
Cage, where can they find you at?
All right, they can find me on Twitter and Parler at Matthew Kadish, Kadish. And you can also check out my books on Amazon by going to kadishbooks.com. And on behalf of the Salty Nerd Podcast, we hope that you all have a Happy New Year and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, guys, enjoy your holidays. Hang out with your family.
Happy
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah.
I just got
Kwanzaa.
a very PBS
All of-
vibe off that.
PBS vibe.
Yeah, public broadcasting.
It's kind of is public
Yeah,
broadcasting. right?
kind of.
Happy Die Hard Day. Happy
Yeah.
Gremlins Day. Happy
Yeah.
Scrooge
All those.
Remembrance.
Happy Fat Man Day.
Happy
Fat
Fat
Man.
Man Day.
Shout out to Esham and Ian Nelms.
Happy Mary Lou Retton as Tiny Tim Day. Whatever you
Mary Lou
celebrate.
Retton?
Enjoy the break, guys. When we come back next year, our first episode, we're going to be discussing the Back to the Future trilogy.
We are.
Yes. Did I not tell you this?
When did we decide this?
You didn't tell anyone that.
Salty has spoken.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
Yeah.
Well, it was in the DMs. Go back like
And then it's my birthday
week.
week.
Did you slide in or did you slip?
No, you know what it was?
Did you slip it?
Because I slipped it in there. Because he was like, I want to do Lord of the Rings. And then we changed our mind. And I'm like, well, instead of do Lord of the Rings, let's do Back to the Future. And everybody's like, okay.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Remember that now? Okay, cool. Yeah, so Back to the Future.
Everybody said okay?
That's heavy, dude.
Or just Vader said okay?
Well,
Get ready for my terrible Doc Brown impressions. This coming.
Get ready for my Biff.
Yeah. What are you looking at, butthead?
Now make like a tree and
Get out of here. All right, signing off. I'm your host, the Salty Nerd. You can find me on Twitter at salty_nerd. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you next year.
"15 minutes could save you 15% or more."
Is that Shakespeare?
Nope, it's Geico.
Yeah, that's Shakespeare from one of his unpublished works. Oh, it be not for awakening. Nay, giveth thou the berries. For 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Nope, it's from Geico, 'cause they help save people money.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but Geico got it from Shakespeare.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Week 17 is upon us, and more than half the teams are vying for playoff position. And with the haves trying to knock off the have-nots this weekend, there's plenty of action to track at betonline.net. Then the stage will be set for the pro football playoffs, and betonline.net will have odds, lines, and props all the way through the championship. Check out all the action this week at betonline.net as the journey to Tampa gets underway. Always available online on your mobile device. Visit betonline.net today. Bring the game home at betonline.net.